An idiot who only knows how to drive and start first. Despite Fernando Alonso later claiming these words as a heat-of-the-moment outburst, it's obvious these insults didn't come from nowhere. In fact, the lap 1 tangle between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso was just the latest incident in their 15-year-old rivalry. But how did this all start, and why has it lasted this long? Today, we're gonna have a little look back and find out. Lewis and Fernando's rivalry began as soon as Lewis joined the sport. As at McLaren in 2007, the rookie Brit was paired alongside the Spaniard who had just come off winning 2 back-to-back titles with Renault. Now, like many teams before and since, it's safe to assume that McLaren expected Alonso to be their main man, whilst Lewis got settled and gained experience, sort of like the Verstappen Albon lineup for 2020. However, as soon as we saw Lewis send it around the outside of his teammate at turn 1, race 1, we knew this wasn't going to be the classic master and apprentice story. What followed was a heroic title fight between the two and Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen, with the Finn winning out by just 1 point over the two McLarens in a season which was really theirs to lose. Throughout the course of the year, we saw tensions rise, as the first few rounds the two were almost inseparable on track. Lewis was even quoted after a P2 finish behind him at Monaco saying, "I wanted to win if I could, but I have to accept the fact that I'm in my rookie season, and he has the number 1 on his car and I have the number 2. I am the second driver, and so I must accept that and respect that for the team." Yet this respect would seemingly not last long, as Lewis would up his game and start taking wins, all whilst Alonso became more and more frustrated, stating that he wasn't comfortable with everything from the minute he arrived at McLaren, and even waving his fist at the pit wall after not being able to pass Lewis at Indianapolis. All this finally boiled over to their first proper incident at Budapest, when after Lewis refused to give Alonso track position during Q3, Fernando responded by remaining stationary in the pit box after the lollipop had already been lifted during a last-minute double-stack pit stop at the end of qualifying. This in turn held up Lewis and didn't give him a chance to set another lap time. If you're confused, basically back in the day they used to just sometimes do pit stops during qualifying to change tyres, instead of just bringing the cars into the garage, changing the tyres, sending them back out. So that's basically when it happened, alright? Fernando was docked 5 places for his actions, and an argument with McLaren team boss Ron Dennis soon ensued, during which Fernando threatened to leak documents regarding Spygate to the FIA. Long story short, Spygate was basically a thing when McLaren copied loads of Ferrari's designs because someone inside Ferrari leaked it. Mega illegal, mega complicated, mega long story, maybe something for another video, but all you need to know for now is it all led to McLaren receiving a $100 million fine and then being excluded from the 2007 Constructors' Championship. So basically, the vibes were not immaculate. As Dennis himself even confessed that, the relationship between Fernando and I is extremely cold. That is an understatement. We are not on speaking terms, he does not speak to anyone much. And as the relationship between Alonso and McLaren broke down, things between him and Lewis became even more heated. With the team understandably beginning to favour Lewis, Fernando had no choice but to race hard for the rest of the season, before he then finally left the team to go back to Renault for 2008. This season of controversy and drama between Fernando, Lewis and McLaren was a real low point for the Spaniard, and set the tone for the two's relationship going forward, that being hard but usually fair racing. Although on reflection, Alonso put no real blame on the young Hamilton, saying it was due to the team's poor management of the situation that things unfolded how they did. Yet you can see after all that why Alonso might have been left with a bad taste in his mouth. You know, you turn up to a brand new team as a 2-time champion, ready to go for free, and all of a sudden the rookie is beating you, the team doesn't seem to like you, the rookie's getting all the attention. As a competitive racing driver, you're just not going to like that rookie, are you? It also didn't help that away from the track, the media, especially in Britain, seemed to have a major bias against Fernando. And I mean, if I as a Lewis fan can say that, you know it must have been bad. Take the Hungary incident for example. The Sun completely ignored the fact that Lewis did anything to provoke Alonso. The Daily Mirror did the same in a full-page spread before mentioning later that Hamilton had a small part to play in the race report 50 pages later. Honestly lads, if you thought YouTube in 2022 was bad for British bias, whew, 2007 was wild. On the other side though, we saw passionate Spanish fans show their hatred towards Lewis, with even some taking it way too far, turning up in blackface to a 2008 pre-season test in Barcelona. Over the next 2 years, the two pretty much went their separate ways, with the Renault in 08 and 09 being a true midfield car. But in 2010, with his move to Ferrari, Alonso got the chance to race against Lewis once more. The two were involved in multiple title fights in the early 2010s, racing hard with one another, but never coming to blows spectacularly. Instead, their rivalry consisted of jabs at one another's driving style and racing ability, with the pair both accusing each other throughout the 2010 season of being too aggressive. Yet, as time went on, the two seemed to develop a strong mutual respect for each other, with Alonso referring to Lewis as an F1 legend, and Lewis placing Alonso as his toughest opponent ever in F1. Personally, I think the fact that since 2014 their careers have gone such different ways, with Lewis being in a title-winning car and Alonso, well, not, has definitely helped the relationship since, you know, the lack of on-track battles has stopped adding fuel to the fire. And in fact, when we have seen them cross paths in modern day, you know, like Mexico 2017 and Hungary last year, we're treated to a spectacular show of hard but respectful racing. Last weekend's incident at Spa, to me, was just an example of how competitive the two are. No matter how over 2007 Alonso might be, he's still not about to let Lewis walk all over him. Hence why he didn't just back out the corner when Lewis turned in. Not saying he should have had to have done that, because Lewis did just turn in on him, but other drivers might have done. Fernando said what he said because he was angry, and it's easy to understand why. When you have an old rival, it's so easy to get back in the headspace of, screw you, I hate you, you're not beating me. But at the end of the day, Lewis admitted he was at fault, and when Fernando heard this, he said he was surprised and it was nice of him to take responsibility, which to me seems like he's at least trying to defuse the situation. So in conclusion, is the rivalry back on? I don't know. In all honesty, I don't think it was ever off in Fernando's eyes, but make sure you let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But until next time, lads, I've been Aiden, this has been Crash F1, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.